The first thing you got to do is you got to give Michigan all the credit in the world. Thought the environment today was tough. Obviously, defensively, they kicked our butts. Our defense has been on the field way too many reps the last couple of weeks. So give Michigan credit; they're a good football team. We did not play well. Today. So we got to make some adjustments. Got to make some corrections, obviously, and we got to get ready for next week. It's very, very important how we handle this week as coaches and players to give ourselves the best opportunity to come back next week and play well.
James, you said last week that Trace had earned the right to go out there even when he was banged up a little bit. What went into the decision to bring him back late in the third quarter and then again in the fourth quarter when the game was out of hand?
Yeah, same deal. I mean, obviously, when we we threw the interception there, we felt like we needed to put Trace back in. Obviously, you make the decision that you probably could have made the change a little bit earlier. The way they were pressuring us and loading the box, having all of Trace's mobility was critical. Tommy was able to do some good things when he was in there. It's hard taking Trace McSorley off the field. Did the same thing last week and made some huge plays for us. So it's difficult to take him off the field. That's probably the biggest thing, is our trust and our belief in him. But obviously, after the fact, we should have made a change early.
Rich?
James, you were leading the country in scoring 5 weeks ago, and you get held to 7 points. Can you explain what's happened to your offense?
We've played really good teams. We've played really good teams. We have got to continue improving on the offensive side of the ball. But we're playing really, really good teams in the Big Ten. I mean, I think that's the #1 defense in the country in a lot of categories, and they played like it today, and we didn't. So give Michigan's defense and give Michigan's coaches and Michigan's players credit.
Rich?
James, in the first half, you called a timeout after it was 4th and 19 to avoid a delay game penalty. Then Trace slid. Looked like he may have picked up a first down. Did you consider calling a timeout then? And if not, why?
Because it's a judgment call, So when a runner slides, as soon as you initiate the slide, they're going to mark them down, and it's a judgment call. So they're not. That's not one of those things that they can review and look at. When did the knee hit the ground? As soon as you start to slide, and that's a judgment call. So. Obviously a tough situation there. I thought that would have been obviously a big pickup early in the game for us. But we've reviewed that. We've talked about that. He thought he had the first down and obviously started to slide a little bit earlier, and they marked it just the way the rule says.
James, did you have a read on how good McSorley's knee was early, and did it change during the game based on what you saw? Because, Trace wants to play. He's going to tell you something that might not be the truth. I'm sure you know that. How did that go? How did the reception go?
Trace has always been very upfront and honest with us. Trace is not going to put his playing over the team. He's a very mature guy. He's never done those things. And again, I think a lot of it goes back to last week. He was able to come back last week and play at a pretty high level. Obviously, a week later, getting treatment every single day. He looked good. He felt good. But Trace would never do that. Trace is a team-first guy. He's always very honest. He's very upfront. He's very transparent. So we would never question that. When Trace tells us something, that we trust it.
Did your perception of how good his knee was change during the game at all?
No, I don't know if it necessarily was as much about Trace's knee as it was about how good they are on defense. Obviously more mobility. Trace at 100%. Yeah, I think helps us. There's no doubt about it. But I think it's, we got to give them credit. They're the #1 defense in the country for a reason, and that was the bigger difference tonight. Obviously Trace being 100% could have made a difference. Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think it's got to start with giving Michigan credit.
So when Tommy threw the interception, Trace went back in there. Was that to protect Tommy or to talk to him about that play, or was it more just, hey, we need to stabilize things and get Trace back in there?
Yeah, that was obviously we can't turn the ball over. We can't turn the ball over in those situations, so it felt like we had to go back with Tommy. With Trace. It wasn't a situation where the guy just made a great play. The last thing we want to do when we're in a situation we were in tonight is start turning the ball over. So that was the decision to go back.
And speaking of turnovers, you've got 2 straight weeks now where there's been on the exchange between Trace and Miles there as it's landed on the ground. Is there anything that you've seen similar in both those plays, or what?
Yeah, it was indecision, and indecision, at the read. We waited to the last minute to give it, and it was on his hip, and you can't do that, And to be honest with you, as soon as Trace came to the sideline, that's what he said. He goes, "I was indecisive," and that's what happened. I watched it on the replay, and Trace came to the sideline just like I said, like he always does. He just owns things.
James, you mentioned the environment. Do you think you guys would handle it better?
Yeah, the last couple of years has been like this. They come to our place and have to play in our environment, and it's a tough environment to play in. We come in here, it's a tough environment to play in, especially, I think when you're talking about D lines. Our defensive line at home, when people have a hard time communicating, are challenging. When you come here and you got to play in this environment, and they're a pressure defense, a bunch of single blocks, and they're able to gain the advantage of communication at the line of scrimmage, makes it very, very challenging. Did I think we would handle the noise better? Yes, but again, I think it's not just one thing. It's the noise, it's their defense. I can't give them enough credit. We knew they were good on film. They got Rashawn Gary back this week as well. We knew they were really good on tape, and we knew it was going to be a challenge, there's no doubt about it, and it was magnified for all the reasons you guys have brought up. Limited at some positions from an injury standpoint, a really good plan by them. We had opportunities that we didn't hit, just you can kind of spread the wealth.
Also, you mentioned the big kickoff. Were you trying to get a big kickoff? Is that why you declined the penalty?
Yeah, we had 39 yards of offense at that point. So decline the penalty, make them kick it again. We did that earlier in the year. The way we were struggling offensively against those defense, I was looking to try to give us a spark. Take the penalty, make them re-kick it, gain 5 yards there, make them re-kick it, and get the ball into a playmaker's hand. In KJ, and obviously we didn't execute well enough, so ended up losing yardage there.
How did you approach the last time you were here that you can apply to next week, the following weekend?
I'm sorry?
The last time you were here, how did you approach coaching the following week that you can now apply to this week and after a loss?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things, but probably most importantly, our defense has played way too many reps the last 3-4 weeks. We have talked about that. You guys have brought it up as well. So I think the biggest thing is we got to be smart with how we practice this week. We got to give our guys the best chance to put this game behind us, move forward, practice smart this week, take some of those reps and wear and tear off of them, so we can be as fresh as we possibly can come Saturday. So we're going to have to make some adjustments with how we practice and how we work. This week's going to be really important.
Time for 2 more.
James, Shea Patterson ran the read option frequently today, so what challenge did that pose for your team?
Yeah, I think it started, they were able to establish the run with the inside zone, and then the pin and pull scheme on the perimeter to their tight end wing set. We were committing aggressively to stop that inside zone, and then obviously now with Shea, they've added another element to their package, getting on the perimeter. So we were being probably overly aggressive to stop the inside runs, and it left us a little susceptible on the perimeter.
James, when you lose a game like this, what are the things you focus on over the next week with leadership, with making sure everybody's on the same page, and to get back to your 1-0 philosophy?
Yeah, exactly what you just said there. We got great leadership. We got a really good locker room. Obviously, everybody's hurting in there. Coaches are hurting, everybody. I get it. The fans are hurting. I get it. But we got a great locker room, and our guys will handle this the right way. We got an opportunity coming up this week, and we got to make sure that there's no hangover effect from this. Sunday's going to be really important for us. Our day off Monday is going to be really important for us. And then obviously the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday, will be really important. So, we got to give Michigan credit. We got to look ourselves in the mirror. We got to make some adjustments, and we got to make some corrections, and then give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful next week.